Hey everybody, welcome back to more Forza Multiplayer on Yas Marina this week after Turn 10 added it in the last update. It's a beautiful track as you can see through the dense fog ahead of us, but anyways, let's get started on one of our first races here. We're in P21 of 23 on this one, driving the Audi again in the Touring Car Series. Overall, I actually felt really good about this race, but we do have one moment later where things unravel a bit for us. Going into turn 1, everyone around us held it together pretty well. We have one guy up ahead that went off to the right, but holding steady in our proximity. However, as we start to go on the other turns, it's going to get a little bumpy, and being in dash cam, it can be a little hard to know where everyone is, see 3 proximity arrows, everyone's close, and into turn 4, we're actually going to get a bit of a hit on the back of Para, a bigger hit from behind. It's really hard to get that turn right on the first lap. Turns 5 and 6, you have to be really careful, especially with a lot of cars around. It's so easy to get off-track penalties here, but we're going to take it relatively easy going through the first time. In fact, we're going to get a really good run on a couple cars as all matters of chaos unfold ahead of us on the back straight. That'll put us up in P17 so far, up behind Weebs. It looks like I actually have a good run on them, but I ended up braking early, was having a hard time seeing the braking point with them in the dense fog, and things are actually going to get pretty chaotic through turns 8 and 9. Definitely some contact, trying to stay on track. Take a little bit of a hit from behind as well going into the final turn. But before we get to the line, we're going to see the wildest serpentine, barely brought under control by another Audi ahead of us. I didn't know where they were going to go, had to dip aggressively to the inside to avoid. That'll slow us down a bit going into turn 1, allowing Para to enter the game once again, but we'll maintain that P16 for now. This is the short version of the track, so we're already on lap 2. The laps are really quick. They can definitely be completed under a minute without traffic. Now Para's going to go a bit wide here, so we're going to go ahead and get alongside to set ourselves up on the outside of turn 4. That'll put us back up with Weaves, but once again as we go through turns 5 and 6, we're going to see a lot of off-track penalties. Definitely got to be careful through there, but anyways, we're going to get a good run onto the back straight, running wide on that turn. We'll make the pass up into P13, but they're going to stay close behind. They're going to have the tow as well, so you're going to see me look to the left, looking behind. I know they're there. It's going to make me want to brake late into the final corners, and against my better judgment I do, almost hitting Lucker in the back. Fortunately avoiding doing so, but unfortunately that's going to allow Pereira to come up the inside, taking P13 from us as we round out the second lap. At this point in the race, I'm still feeling pretty good about everything. We're up into P14. We're not too far behind the leader, only 8.5 seconds or so ahead. And I know that a lot of the people around me have penalties from off tracks, collisions, and such. While it may be a far cry, I feel like there might be a chance. Anyways, Pereira's going to look to the inside of Lucker, but Lucker's going to close the door as we go into turn 3. Pereira's still kind of looking there, but he's going to end up losing it a little bit on the curve here. It's going to throw him wide on turn 4. We're going to take the inside, get the pass right up behind Lucker once again, and we're going to absolutely abuse the curve on turn 5 and try to get a good run coming onto the back straight. Unfortunately, not able to make a great run out of that turn, just trying to make sure we don't slam into the back of Lucker. It'll put us into a drag race as we go down the back straight. Speed's going to stay pretty even, but I can't help but notice ahead that another car ends up spinning off. A tight group ahead as we try to brake a little bit later than Lucker going into this turn. He concedes the position for us. Couldn't help but notice that they went pretty wide into that last corner. See some collision penalties up there as well. Gonna have a bit of a moment on this curb, almost throws me off, but keep it under control. Really got to watch out for that one. In fact, I think it's to blame for our serpentining buddy earlier. Either way, we've got an opportunity soon to maybe overtake 3 cars. One of them runs really wide there, ending up right in front of us. And it was in this moment I had to take a little bit of a pause. I noticed a 9.5 second penalty in the guy in front of us. Definitely probably one of the biggest I've seen up to this point, without a DQ that is. At this point though, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt. It's definitely easy to get penalties here. It's a new track. He runs really wide, almost hitting level 81 Magic Carp. In fact, I stay way to the left because I was afraid he was going to throw himself into me there, but instead he cuts the corner, ends up getting another half-second penalty. I realize as we're going down the back straight, I am going to have to attempt to make the pass here. I've got the run, and at this point I'm just really hoping those penalties are all incidental. I'm going to look to the left. He's actually going to brake really early, but just turn right into my quarter panel. Unfortunately sending me right off, ghosting me out. A true downer from Downer Boy indeed. But it is what it is, not worth getting too riled about it. In fact, Lucker there doing a really good job staying on the inside of the track just in case I ghost back in. Thank you very much for that, Lucker. So now we've got some work to do once again as we come to the end of the 4th lap. We're back down into P15. We see a whole mass of cars ahead of us though as Downer Boy starts to kind of hit Para a little bit, shoving him off the track as well. As long as we don't get any more incidents, I definitely think we can get back up into the top 10. We're going to focus on that goal as we go up into turn 4, looking to pass Lucker cleanly. We are, however, going to see that Perez definitely getting a little bit tangled up with Downer. It doesn't look too bad, but as we come down into turn 6, he's just going to ghost and just quit the game. Just really wasn't having it. Definitely unfortunate to see, but we'll take the position as we follow Ulucker once again down the back straight. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to name Ulucker the resident nice guy of this race. He just really was giving everybody a lot of space and seemed to have really good awareness. We'll see a bit of that in action as we look to the inside of him on turn 9. He comes inside, actually backs off a little bit, seeing us to the inside as well, both of us hesitating there just for a second as I make the pass. But at this point in the race, we can see that the sun is starting to shine, perhaps a good omen, as unfortunately we have to attempt to pass Downer Boy once again. We see him getting a little bit tangled up with Weebs there, but not too much action to be had. It throws him wide, allows us to close in on him really quickly actually. But as we start to come through the long turn 3, I definitely get nervous. I go wide and carry way too much speed here. I have to slow down a lot to maintain my composure on the track. At this point, I decide it's probably best, if anything, to attempt the pass again on the back straight. I try to do my best through turns 5 and 6 to make sure I have the momentum, and I do in fact have it. I run really narrow here to try to leave plenty of space, but right as I look to my left, we take a hit, just try to run even more narrow. Looks like he's coming in again, really squeezing us on this side of the track. But here we go again, up into turns 8 and 9. I'm going to brake early, trying to avoid getting pit maneuvered once again. Get right on the apex, but he's going to sweep up underneath, and there's going to be a bit more contact. Not too bad there. But after everything else, it still felt a little bit malicious. Luckily, he's going to end up a few positions behind us. It definitely slowed him down. We're going to have some open space in front of us now as we come into the 7th lap. Not in as high of a position as we had hoped, but we still made a lot of progress, up from P21 into P11. So you have another moment on that curve as well. Wheel stand rattling all over the place, but everything's holding together. We're all good. For the time being, I tend to try to avoid that curve because it just really unsettles the car. We're past it now though, and we've got 2 laps, 2.5 seconds to close to P10. It's really not looking good for me at this point. But I know throughout the race we've had really good pace. I think I can probably close it down. It is going to take a minute though, so let's drive this next lap really fast and just shave those tenths off the gap from Weebs ahead. Absolutely flying into the last lap. But we'll take it from about here. We cut the time on the gap ahead of us in half. I know we can definitely cut it down some more, but I just really wasn't sure if it was in the cards. The end of this race though, I don't really know how to put it in any other way except just extremely lucky. But for now we can see we're definitely closing in on Weebs. We're only a second behind at this point. They're carrying an 8-10 second penalty. At the very least, I definitely think we can get P10 based on that alone. We see a glimpse of some of those cars on the horizon, but there's just no way we can catch those. It's just not going to happen. It's going to maybe be P10 at best, right? We're just going to keep our nose as close behind Weebs as we can just to get that P10, but there's a little bit of tire smoke ahead and a ghosted car right on the finish line. What's going to end up happening there? Are we going to end up getting P9? After all that, it'd be great to be top 10, but it's going to be a P8. Turns out another car ahead of us had almost a 4.5 second penalty, giving us another position. We'll definitely take that result, finishing right behind our Magic Carp friend. Now, I'd love to be able to watch back what happened, but unfortunately for me right now, this is what happens when I try to save any replays. Everything looks good for a moment, but a couple seconds later, maybe one day. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're going to be releasing more videos soon, but until then, we'll see you next time.